Right, hello. And if you caught a little bit of ire at the end of there, Brown have scored their first point. Here we are playing.
Lucky point. They didn't deserve it.
Lucky point playing Rossi. Thanks, Alex. I was just having a bit of faff getting the stream going. Who scored the point?
Mo Razak, number 68.
Yes, the very same.
Thrown by...
It doesn't matter.
somebody.
Right. So, for this point, we've got Dylan, Sam, KK pulling, Dan Sorensen, and Fernley. It's a slightly short pull. They're going to play it from where it is. They're setting up with a flat three at the back. Reset and some quick hands here moving up the line, and a quick bang down the line. So they have got yards there, but they are in the corner. They're probably going to reset. They have with a big swing.
Truly a display of Rotterdam riches.
And oh, very good. We like the dramatic chase after it. Don't know how many it convinced, but it was good effort nonetheless. Sam with a little pop out. He wants it back, but it wasn't quite the right angle for Dan. So Dan resets to Dylan at the back. Dylan's looking up. He's got quite a vertical structure now. It's basically a 1-4 vert stack that they've run. KK gets it out on the open side. He looks up, fakes the overhead, but then to Fernley.
So nice.
Fernley's far too nice. And then the hammer for the goal with Dylan Spears scoring. Just going to share this stream because it's different from the previous one. Copy, link, share, Discord thing. Right. Apologies if there's an option. We've just got a slightly casual turnover there with a missed throw landing in Dylan Spears. And we start out here with a turnover point. From the front of our end zone. KK receives on the other side of the pitch. Dan Pritchard gains some yards under, and he looks up with the big scuba, but it's too long. He was looking for Dylan Spears there, but it was too big and too central in the pitch, I think.
Let's get the back.
Let me know if you've any issues with the stream. I've switched app. So Dylan Spears putting a force on. They're trying to choke him up quite close to the front there, with Dylan making it hard for them to make yards of the ISO. It's a big hammer, but there's two players underneath it, and great pressure there from Dan and Dan. They've been double downed. KK looking for something. He ends up swinging to Mo. Mo doesn't need a lot of space to bring that down, and he sends it out to Dan Renhard on the line. Renhard was tempted by the line, but it's not going to happen. Looked like he was going to want the overhead, but in the end he resets to Mo Razak. Mo looks at the IO and then throws instead to Dylan, who has to stretch a bit to get it, but no dramas there picking that up. Dylan swings again to KK. KK with the scuba over to Mo, and with a little pressure brings it down for the Browns' third goal, and that makes it 3-0 with Colin here. Doing the scores. Yeah. Woo. This is my own lunch break, so you'll forgive me if I'm... what we got today? Who wants to know? It's actually, I think it's a little bit grim. There's a dry peanut butter sandwich and a banana. I was intending to put them together, but I don't think I'm going to have time. Back to the frisbee. Big pull, a little bit short, but they start again. Again, that flat three handlers starting on the back for Rotterdam money, but it's a big put there to our red receiver, who's looked for a couple of big high catches so far, but he hasn't had them. Last time he was put off by being sandwiched between Dan and Dan. And he looked charmed. I mean, who wouldn't want to be sandwiched between Dan and Dan? But he didn't come down with the disc. I did not mark it as suitable for kids, but anyway, I don't know what you mean. Right, Sam Dowell receives, resets to KK at the back. There's a lot of fluid motion going on here. Dan Sorensen looks up the line, but he's not going to do it. He's tempted by KK up the line, but in the end he resets centrally to Fernley. Fernley catches it, looks at Sam Dowell, looks him off, and now there's a hammer going to KK. No dramas. KK has just taken a step the right side of his man, and as long as they're matching 1-to-1 in the end zone, KK there, throwing the disc up, looking cool, and then managing not to look too worried about the fact he knew it was going to hit him in the head. But very, very smooth, I think. Watch that back if you want. Let's go, KK. How do you feel the celebration went for you? A dadwich, if you will, says Libby on the chat. Oh, Dan Sorensen sadly not a part of that on this occasion, but perhaps later they could make it a club Danwich. Yeah, exactly.
It'll come at some point.
I'm sure someone will. Right, so Sam Dell, Dylan Spears pulls down Pritchard, Mo Razak, and Dan Renhard lining up for the Browns. Strong line every point here. They start the point in their own end zone, and a hammer to a sort of an ISO play basically, but coming from the deeper position. They've not had as much luck. We've been putting a lot of pressure on the ISO, so they haven't done much with that so far. Nonetheless, they don't gain too many yards, and they're in their own third of the pitch. Lateral movement there. Sam Dow just poaching into that inside space is causing a lot of trouble. Right at the back, we've got Dylan Spears marking out in the end zone, and then Mo trying to cover the gap. But unfortunately, between Mo and Sam and Dylan, not quite able to communicate the stopping that. Always going to be a difficult disc to stop. Laid over the top. But the Browns still running strong at 4-1. So on this next line, we're going to have the joy and pleasure of watching Fernley, Dylan, Eric, KK, and Dan Sorensen. Ball goes up. It's a nice pull, puts us in our own end zone. Start centered to Eric. Eric looks up, decides he doesn't want Dan. Dylan's in an ISO position, but quite static, and he looks it off in favor of a big one to KK. Oh! There were two recipients there who might have been on it, KK and Sorensen. I think it was always for KK, but didn't quite manage to bring it down with some strong defensive pressure. So they turn over and start their own offense at the front of the end zone with Eric marking. There's a break throw out, but doesn't gain any yards. Front of the end zone still. Dylan's on the mark now. Fernley trying to block that underhandler, and they're doing a really nice job keeping them in their own end zone there. There's a big gulf in the middle of the pitch that they've not really been able to exploit so far. KK's just allowed to sort of roam free on defense in there. That hammer over the top, and that's a turnover for them, being forced into some low percentage stuff. So I think Brown's defense is looking quite intimidating for Rotterdam money at the moment. Brown pick up, it's their own offense point, but they've had to win it back with the turnover with Dylan on the sideline. And it's straight over to Fernley. Fernley, some magic feet there, but wasn't quite placed to score. It's a shame. It feels like it could have been a goal with the right placement, but unfortunately they didn't milk it quite right. And then the goal attempt to KK is turned over. It wasn't really on. Big hammer going up because Eric is matched there by Alex, but it is out the back. I think, like many before him, the handler there tempted by the height discrepancy, seeing Eric, but they don't know Eric, and on this occasion it has not come down for them. Dan Sorensen getting it on the open side, looking around, bit tight, but nice and cool as you like. On that line, having a look, thinks about the line, thinks maybe about the overhead, but then resets to KK. KK, not Fernley, who wasn't quite in the right spot, I think, for him, but there he's in the right spot. That's the right spot with Sorensen throwing it down the line for a nice high grab from Fernley. And that makes the score 5-1. Right. Rough and tough, says the opposition.
Rough and tough.
Rough and tough. So the Brown looking strong here. I think the defense is good pressure on him. Well, it will be on the Brown YouTube, so do have a look. So Mo Razak, Dan Pritchard, Sam Dowell, and Dan Pritchard pulled. Sorry, Dan Renhard also on the line. Left disc mark, but they haven't been able to do tons with it. Lots of pressure still in this backspace. Oh yes, it's lovely. Trying a little fast blade throw straight through the middle, but Mo Razak's not allowing that. Up the line to Mo, a little bit of barging, but no dramas for catching it, towing the line just at the back. So really, really good. I see Vicky say it's maybe a bit blurry, the stream. If that's true for all of you, then I'm guessing it's just my it's my connection. So there's probably nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid. Well, boys.
Even our own teammates.
Right. Eric, KK pull, Sam Dowell, Dylan and Dan Sorensen on this. It's a great pull right to the back of the end zone, forcing a high grab and a little bit of uncertainty as to whether it's going to be breakable, but it was not. Nonetheless, they've managed to gain a few yards along here. Little reset from them, but still with this really strong pressure at the back. Their handler structure has found it really difficult to break through with many yards against our pressure at the back. Nonetheless, there they get a few yards up the line there on Eric's match, and again up the line, a few yards. Eric just turning up like it's what he'd been planning for weeks. Just came in, little scuttled in, and with a little crouch hit it and just ran away like some sort of night demon. Sam Dowell pings it to the back, and an absolutely filthy bring down with Dylan Spears climbing to get that sky and score the goal at the back there. Sam and Eric and bring it together as a team. Okay, well, next stream we'll try going back to Prism. I think it's probably not the app, it's just the signal. Anyway, this one we got Mo Fernley, Dan Pritchard, KK just pulled, and Dan Renhard. The pull is a little bit short out the front of the end zone, and they managed to turn away with some yards straight away. They're on the sideline now, definitely draws it back, never in doubt. And a little reset, but they've lost a few yards doing that. Really good force there from Mo, stop them getting that swing. They're able to get out that little breaky under. Looked like it might be pinged in zone for a moment. Set to the middle. And Blade on a ping zone. I think Mo disappointed that he couldn't challenge for that one, but it's always difficult to cut out completely.
Well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, so this is a must win, so it's good that we're up.
Excellent.
Shaky start this morning, better now.
Keep it chill.
So Brown to receive the pull. We have Fernley, Eric, Dylan, KK receives, and Dan Sorensen. KK straight to Eric, Eric back to KK. KK sideline, but Dan Sorensen gives an option up the line. They managed to bring that with his man forcing not odds out of it, but a hammer. This is the Brown one versus Rotterdam money. You are probably, I'd say, about halfway through. What is it, 13 minutes in? Yeah, about halfway through on time. The current score is 7-2 to the Brown. The call downfield stops play for a moment. KK with the disc. Little lefty reset to Dan Sorensen. Brown don't need to be in a huge hurry here, and indeed reset it almost back to our end zone. Dylan, and he pings it for, it's not a goal, but he's brought it down well there. Dan Sorensen receiving from Dylan, and then another blade to Eric at the side. Yeah, Brown doing well here, cruising. I think that the thing that's standing out, I mean, some excellent offense and flow, but they're making it really difficult for Rotterdam money at the back. Lots and lots of pressure on the handler stuff that they've got. Rotterdam money sort of clearing out, leaving 3 guys at the back mostly, and then 2 quite uninvolved. They tried some ISO-y stuff earlier, I would say, but it didn't really come off thanks to pressure from the Brown. As we start the 11th point here, Dylan, Dan Renhard, Mo, who's forcing right now and stopping this up the line here. Really nice close mark there, and again, every time it's close. Managed to get that off here, but they're always having to squeeze it out with that little blade over, though. They managed to convert that one. I think that's what the Brown have been shutting down quite well. They have got through there, but even then you saw how close Mo was, what the pressure was, and that's the Browns' defense has been shutting down. Their ability to gain yards through their handlers, which is very much how they've set up.
Hey, nearly, Mo.
Yeah, I'm looking good.
Nibbed some feedback there. So receiving the Zach also on the line, Dan Sorensen. Eric, who's got the disc now in his own end zone, who's about to receive open under, and Fernley in the middle. You can tell Fernley because he's even more blurred than the others. Mo sends a weird little floaty low release backhand. Somehow, against decency, frankly, is brought down for a goal by Dan Sorensen. Unfortunately, it looks like there's maybe a bit of a twinge. I don't think there's a foul call. I think it was a clean grab. But the Rotterdam money defender there has come down with a bit of a twinge, taking his boot off. So hopefully he's all right. Excellent takedown there, Dan. Was looking a little uncertain. It was in the air, but wasn't uncertain when you were in the air. It's good. So a timeout here. Appears to be. Oh, sorry, Dan. Yeah, I assumed you just smell or something. Anyway. Calling for a quick restart on the other side. Fair enough. We want to place. We want that here. Can just about manage to get 10 on the pitch as the time runs out and we start to play again. We like that. We want everyone to want to play. Weirdly, I think he tried to brick that, but I have no idea on what grounds. It literally landed on the ground in their end zone. Does anyone else understand why?
Apparently we overstayed our timeout.
Oh, right, I see. Okay, yeah, okay. About a count long on the 10 seconds there, so I think that's why they've bricked it. Dan Pritchard has called a travel on his match in the middle. Fernley always looking dangerous to stop that goal line. High there to our man in red who receives on Eric. This commentator's understanding, actually, because we had this discussion before, is that you don't get time to walk back. It's tough crap. It's a bit stupid. Oh, it's a great pickup from Mo there. It's a great pickup. My understanding, though, is the rules don't allow anything extra for the fact that the defensive team has to start at the other end of the pitch, or the offensive team, sorry. And actually, as soon as you've got on the line, you can call 10. Bit mad, but there you go. KK receives at the front zone, and very chilly gives it to Sam. He had tried to toe the line at the first throw, but it wasn't quite going to happen, so he received instead, converted a moment later.
Let's go.
There we are, they're on the line, they've got a hand up, and they call 10. Out from Fernley, that stops it happening. There's a foul called. I think Dan Renhard has called a foul by the disc holder, I think is what happened there, but it might have been the other way around, so I can't actually tell. I don't know what's coming on, but it's a low stall count anyway, and that's the only difference that would have been there. Nick receives it on Rotterdam money, and he looks to put it up the line. Dan Renhard's there getting beaten up the line, and it's a great challenge there from Dylan. He's see the other player, I couldn't see, but but he was also on quite a turning to him. It's a difficult one, to be honest. Nonetheless, I suspect experienced players on the field, they're going to work this out. And it's going to go back on whatever stall it was on. Probably quite low. I think it was fairly quick. So we've got Eric marking the man in red in the end zone. Yes, Eric coming through there with an excellent pressure there. Gets the turn. Dan Pritchard swings to Dylan. A little bit of frustration, I think, amongst the defensive team. Quite a contacty play there from the defender in the middle, but nonetheless carries on and across to Fernley for the score. It's now 11-4 to the Brown. it's been a good and a well-fought game. I think the Rotterdam Money's desire to get going and play, which is absolutely understandable, and that brick call from the timeout maybe just prompting people to be a little bit loose calls and a little bit more invested on slightly starts for Rotterdam Money with Mo all over, has to throw to the tight window, and it goes Sam Dow. Sam Dow straight up the line, gets it back from Mo. Nice yards immediately from Sam Dow, no wasting time, and he's got the right put there. I just KK wasn't really engaged at the time. He wasn't sort of actively to receive, I think, and it didn't come off. Over there, received by Red in the middle. Red top, just to be clear. Reconnecting. Apologies, I didn't see how long. Apologies, I'm told that the quality of the stream is not very good. I don't think there's anything we can do about it. This pull here at 11.5 is Fernley, Eric, Dan Pritchard, who's actually going to catch. KK on the right is receiving now in the middle. Dylan straight out to KK. We've gained some yards straight away with only some simple throws out there. We're more than halfway straight out. And Eric receiving on that side. Looks for the overhead, takes the overhead, and again, with some absolute filth, it's brought down by Dan Pritchard. In there, didn't look like it wasn't maybe, but Dan Pritchard getting it off him, and we've seen that head down reaction a few times now from Rotterdam Money when they've been scored on in similar manner. The Brown are frustrating them with some really good play. So Dylan to pull with Mo, Dan, Sorensen, Dan Renhard, and Sam Dowell also chasing down this point. It's a good pull. They catch and they're starting the point in their own end zone. Red top there looking for that. So that was the stuff that earlier on in the game they were shutting down really well, the Brown. But there's a goal there from a hammer, break side ISO, and then a hammer down the line. This is much more sort of classic indoor ISO hammer tool play that the Brown were shutting down nearly completely in the first few points. 3 points, they've managed to make it work, Rotterdam Money. Nonetheless, it is 12-6 to the Brown. Receiving the pull, Dan Sorensen, KK, Dan Pritchard, Mo Razak, and Fernley on the far side. KK takes it in the end zone. Quick throw to Dan, who takes it high. Straight up the line to a crossfield cut there from Dan Sorensen. Dan Sorensen's looking at Mo, who's making some shapes downfield. Decides not to give it. Swings it to Dan Pritchard. Fernley's always there. Fernley bangs it up the line to Mo, and if he can box properly, then he's going to bring it down for a goal. There's, I think, a little bit of frustration with the defender there. He thought he'd got a hand to it. To be honest, I thought he was within striking distance. That's how it happens. And that makes it 13-6. Final score. Brown win. Thanks for joining. I'm not sure what game is next. I think the seconds have a couple hours off. When are the women playing? 20 back. What time is it now? Okay, so the women's team are playing in about 10 minutes. We'll try to stream that as well. I'll see if we can fix the resolution thing, but there's only so much we can do. Who are you playing? Glasgow. Nice. Okay, awesome. So see you guys back in roughly 10 minutes for the women's game against Glasgow. Bye.